Remember I used to bring them home for you?
No, your other
They were so
daughter
good.
somewhere.
We were supposed to see Sinners and Warfare, but I'm a slacker and only saw Sinners. Can more movies have two Michael B. Jordans, by the way?
That's my review. I love him.
I will one up you and
Okay.
say this is not only the best movie I've seen this year, this is the best movie I've seen since we started this podcast.
Wow.
Welcome to the Solo Moviegoers Club. This is the only podcast for people who like to see movies alone. I am Sean. This is my daughter Kaya. And on this podcast, we see the same movie in a theater by ourselves on different coasts. I'm in Detroit. She's in Los Angeles. And this week, we were supposed to see Sinners and Warfare, but I'm a slacker and only saw Sinners.
Are you kidding me right now? I'm so mad.
She was already mad. I just to give like the backstage drama. Kaya was having like a meltdown over like her headphones and her hair and her sweatshirt.
I have sensory issues because I'm basically autistic, and I am really annoyed by my hair and wearing headphones. So I was mad.
And I already knew she was going to be mad. I saved this information for the podcast so that I could see what her reaction was and you could see what her reaction was live. So this week we are talking about Sinners. Next week will be a double feature. We'll do Warfare and something else.
Here's the crazy thing. We were supposed to see Warfare like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I got on that before because I was going to Coachella, which I knew, and then I was going to Kauai. So I wanted to see it ahead of time so that we could podcast before. And so I planned that ahead, but he still hadn't seen it by the time I was at Coachella. And then he had all of this time, all 2 weeks to see both movies, and he waited last minute. Yeah. I still saw Sinners before you saw it too.
I know.
Is that Rocky snoring?
Yeah, you can hear that?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, our dog is snoring in the background. So that'll add to your sensory issues. It's a nice low rumble. If anybody needs to like relax and zen out, you can listen to our dog rumble.
ASMR.
Okay. So, what, Kaya, was your solo movie-going experience of Sinners?
First of all, I'm just going to say this for Warfare. I'm not going to remember anything next week. But for Sinners, I go to the Regency in Calabasas, which I really like this theater because there's no one ever there and it's super old school. And I get in there already. Annoying teenage boy at the front yells at me for I'm not kidding, I had this much coffee left. I went to the Barnes & Noble before to like walk around because I had time to kill. And I was so mad. And then there was a lady, an old lady in front of me in line, and he yelled at her too. She had a bag of food, and she like went outside and she ate it all right before the movie started. But I get in and I sit down, and I think there's like only 2 other people in there. It's not many people. And it was pleasant despite not having coffee for 2 hours. I saw early, like 1.
2 hours and 17 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you like the Regency in Calabasas? Is that a nice theater?
It's just like old school looking and small, but like they updated the seats. So I like it.
Yeah, I went to my favorite theater that's right by my house. And this was a screening. It was a 2:30 p.m. screening on the biggest screen there. But it's this one, it's like kind of a magical experience because it's an ultra wide screen. It's really big, but there aren't a ton of seats in the theater despite being a giant screen. So like every seat's really good. The sound is really good. I had like the very middle seat with like the bar in front of me so I could put my feet up on it, even though it was like a reclining seat. It was just like perfect. It was like the perfect experience. Yeah. I took a coffee. We have become, so the Equinox that's by our house just opened the cafe inside, and it's bomb, like next level amazing.
It's not
like,
new.
The cafe?
No.
Are you sure? Well, we just started going to it. It's like There used to be. I used to be obsessed with the Equinox in West Hollywood and their smoothies. Remember, I used to bring them home for you.
No, your other
They were so
daughter
good.
somewhere.
No!
Like,
Ask Mumsy about this. She
you
knows
never
about this.
did. You never did
Yes,
that.
I did. Whatever.
No.
Anyway, those smoothies were baller. Now we're back to eating Equinox like every day. It's out of control. We don't even go to that gym, by the way, anymore. And we still are blowing up this cafe. Anyways, they have a baller cold brew. I got their cold brew. I went to the movie. It was pretty great. Like, from a solo movie going experience, it was a really quiet theater. Like, there's a couple appropriate moments in the movie where people like yelled out or laughed or whatever, but it was like a very respectful movie going crowd. The movie for 2:30 on a, I don't know, whatever weekday it was like a quarter full.
That's
Like,
pretty
decent.
good. Yeah.
I saw one other solo moviegoer. I tried to catch him after the movie, but he pieced out. He made the same tragic error that you did, which is leaving before the mid-credit sequence.
I don't care. I will always do that. I don't.
We'll
care
get
at
to
all.
that. We'll get to
Yeah.
that. No, it was a good one on this. And it wasn't even like a real mid-credit sequence. It was like a minute into the credits. It was not long.
Yeah.
You must have heard it when you were walking out. But so do you want to
Wait.
summarize this movie?
I will, but I first want to talk about this if this is controversial, because for me, when
Oh.
I choose a seat, I choose the handicap seats. I always sit in that row.
I don't think.
I just like
Okay,
that it's in the
so
middle and that I can
here's-
see.
Here's the question. If a person accompanying a handicapped person came and needed you to move so they could like sit next to the person they came with, would you move for them?
Yes,
Okay, then it's fine.
but yeah, okay, good.
I
Because
don't
that's
think
the
that's
seat I always
controversial.
choose.
I think it's fine. I think if this were a problem where like handicapped people weren't going to movies because those seats weren't open, you would have to like show your handicap placard before booking the seat.
Yeah, true. True that.
Yeah. I don't know. Somebody weigh in on this. Somebody who is either uses a wheelchair or goes to movies frequently with someone who's in a wheelchair. Please let us know what you think about this. I'll ask my mom too, like with my dad.
Oh yeah.
What they're doing. I think they're going to a movie this week. So
Oh no way.
yeah, I'll find out. So, do you want to summarize this? As part of this podcast, I forgot. I'm supposed to say at the beginning what we do. We talk about our solo movie going experience. We usually talk about the beverage we snuck in or tried to sneak in. We summarize the movie quickly. We talk about a bunch of random stuff tangentially related to the movie or whatever happened to us in our lives that week. And then we look at reviews of the movie and decide what we're going to see next. So, summary is the next part. Kaya, is this one on you or do you want me to do it?
You, because I did the last two.
Okay, cool. So this is going to be a very quick summary. Typically, when I say that, it lasts about 15 minutes. But this movie is about twins, Smoke and Stack, who leave the plantation they're from. They go to Chicago. They're in World War I. They travel the world. It seems like they get into some trouble in Chicago. They come back to their small town in the South. They decide they're going to open up a juke joint, and their opening night on their juke joint gets interrupted by vampires, led by this Irish vampire who seems to be very, very old and very, very musical. And the rest of the movie is basically the people who came to the juke joint and these twins trying to survive the vampire onslaught. Is that it?
Yeah, that's good.
What did you think of this movie?
I thought this was amazing. The best movie I've seen so far this year. Like, by far, 5 out of 5 for me.
I will one up you and
Okay.
say this is not only the best movie I've seen this year, this is the best movie I've seen since we started this podcast.
Wow.
This
I think it's up
is-
there. It's up there for sure. It doesn't beat, like, a couple of them, but it's good.
This is like, okay, so I guess we didn't talk last year. I'll have to revisit this later once I've had more time to think about it. I think overall I still liked Dune 2. I think Dune 2 is a better movie than this, but Dune 2 is based on a classic piece of literature. This is an original movie. This thing, like nothing about this existed 2 years ago, and all of a sudden it's this amazing movie. Like this to me, and
Yeah.
I'll talk more about this. I've got a point that I want to make about this later that's probably going to be controversial, but I think to me this movie was Tarantino good. It
I
was
was
like
going to say it like sets a precedent for future vampire films. Like it's so good and its own thing. I don't know.
it's so its own thing. It's okay.
Yeah.
So I'll just get into this right now. I'm going to get into the point. I
Yeah.
have an agenda for today. Some topics I want to cover. I'm going to get into the last topic I wanted to cover first. It's the most controversial one. So I've done what we usually do. We avoid looking at reviews of the movies, but it's been impossible. This movie's been all over the internet. I haven't looked at a review, but the commentary about this movie is everywhere. I also, and Kaya and I can talk about this later. Kaya, since our last podcast, Kaya got me onto TikTok. And I previously hadn't been on any social media, so I've been making TikToks, I've been viewing TikToks, and it's been an interesting experience because I feel like oddly more connected with contemporary movie culture. And like the people on TikTok love movies. It's really kind of inspiring to see how much they love movies and celebrate movies. And people really lean into the Irish dancing component of this movie. And I've seen so many groups of people like doing their own version of the Rocky Road to Dublin Irish dance.
What
It's
side
like
of TikTok are you on? That's crazy.
the people hanging out Irish dancing side of TikTok, and
Wow.
it'll all be like me and my friends or me and my homies if we joined Rennick's coven or whatever it is, his vampire group, and so they're doing like their own dances to
Yeah.
that song. It's awesome, but I want to do it with my group of friends. I should do it with our family. You can join virtually.
Okay.
But anyway, okay, here's my controversial point. I'll just stop beating around the bush. I keep seeing all these comparisons of Ryan Coogler to Jordan Peele.
Okay.
And I think it's like the most racist thing ever. Because, yeah, Jordan Peele is a black filmmaker who makes horror movies. Ryan Coogler is a black filmmaker who made a horror movie. So many other people make horror movies. Like, I don't understand. When I watch these movies from like a formal standpoint, from an artistic standpoint, yes, they're both horror, but I don't see the inspiration of Jordan Peele in Sinners at all. Of course,
what has
yes,
Jordan
it's
Peele made?
Get Out, Us, and
Oh.
Nope.
This is like not like a scary movie though to me. It's more like thriller, action.
It's like From Dusk Till
It's
Dawn. It's
scary, but
it's like there's horror. Here's the way I like to describe these types of movies. I don't think it's a horror movie either. I don't think
Yeah.
these are horror movies. I think these are action adventure movies, but this has a lot of drama too.
yeah.
But it's
like
like
it covers all areas.
it covers a lot. It's like a deep action drama set in a world with horror characters. But I feel like because Jordan Peele is a very successful black horror filmmaker, and he's made comedies too. He made Key and Peele, that series, for years. But I feel like they keep comparing Ryan Coogler, the director of Sinners, to Jordan Peele, the director of those movies, and like stylistically, they're so dissimilar. Like when I'm seeing Sinners, I'm seeing Tarantino, even like Robert Rodriguez. I'm seeing Brian De Palma. I'm seeing the Coen brothers. I'm seeing like the influences of so many filmmakers. I haven't watched because I've been trying to avoid it, but I want to look up if Coogler has said who his like what filmmakers and what films he was inspired by, because like
Probably
yeah,
on
sure,
Letterboxd.
it's probably on Letterboxd, but like yeah, sure, there is a race component to Sinners, but there's a race and or class component to every vampire movie. It's a critical piece of the genre. So I don't
Yeah.
think that's like, I just think it's racist. I think like to compare two filmmakers and their films just because they have the same skin color seems insane to me. And I don't
Yeah.
understand why the commentary has to go there.
I
don't
guess
know what
I don't know.
people-
I can't compare because I've never seen like I've never seen like Get Out or
You're the only person that's never
I
seen all
know.
these
But
Jordan
those
Peele
look
movies.
really scary. Those look super scary. So I
They're
don't
real.
want
They're
to.
real horror movies. I mean,
That's
like
what
Jordan
I mean.
Peele
Like
makes,
this, I could.
and
I
that
could
is
watch
why
a
they're not
million of
similar.
these. Yeah.
That's
okay.
why they're not similar. Like Ryan
Yeah.
Coogler has a very different career. His career, I don't know if you're familiar with his other movies. He made Fruitvale Station. He made Creed. He made Black Panther.
I've
Like he
seen
makes
Creed and Black Panther.
all
They're
different. He
amazing.
works in like many different genres. Everything he does really well. But and again, yeah, this is not a prototypical horror movie.
No.
It's almost, I don't know. I would put it more in the vein similarly to like From Dusk Till Dawn. It's kind of a Western.
Yeah, yeah.
What do
I was
you have?
gonna
You have
say-
something on your mind?
No, I was gonna say it's like a period piece. Duh.
It is a period. It's absolutely
Yeah.
a period piece. But you can make a period piece horror movie. Look at Nosferatu. Like Nosferatu is a horror movie. That is a vampire absolute
Yeah.
horror movie. This I don't think
This was good. This was so good.
it's
This
great.
is like my style movie to watch.
It's
and
kind of a
pick.
musical.
I was just going to say that too. The people who were singing in it and playing instruments were really, really talented. Like I don't
They
know
were-
the main actor or like the cousin of the Michael B. Jordans, but
Uh-huh.
he was amazing.
Can more movies have two Michael B. Jordans, by the way?
I literally, that's my review. I love him. I love him. He's the best.
He's so good. It's so hard. What's funny about it is that he's so good that I don't know if this is like the verisimilitude or whatever of watching a movie, but I forgot I was watching the same actor play two roles. Like
I
I just got
know.
so lost in the movie that Smoke and Stack were different people.
No,
It was
when
crazy.
they first showed Smoke and Stack, I was like, wait, which one's Michael B. Jordan? It looks like it's like I was like, am I tripping? They both look like him. And then I'm like, oh my God, he's playing the same guy. And he did it so well. Because
Yeah.
they were similar, but they were so different. This
They
was
were
like a
so
Parent
different.
Trap thing. Like it was I loved it.
It was, and what was so good and so like nuanced about the performance is, and what was so smart about the movie is at the beginning of the movie, one was wearing a red hat, one was wearing a blue hat. They like identified them very differently. One had a gold tooth, one didn't.
Yeah.
And by the end, like all that artifice gets torn away, and just through performance, even when they're in just like they're all like bloodied up and they've like been through hell and they don't have the hats on anymore, you still know who's who
Yeah.
immediately just
Yeah.
through performance cues.
It was crazy. Like they would show one of them in the crowd of their like juke bar or whatever, and I could immediately tell. And they didn't have the hats on or anything. Like it was so good.
It was good. This
So
was really good. This is going to be a tough one. I hope. So there's this thing that happens sometimes where a movie comes out too early in the year. I think this is what happened to Dune last year. Like they don't think the movie is an Oscar contender, so they put it out too early, and then by virtue of recency bias, everybody forgets about it because a bunch of other stuff comes out later, and then
Yeah.
it doesn't get the Oscars it deserves. Like we called out Honora, we called out Mikey Madison winning for Honora last year. We didn't call out Honora getting the clean sweep that it did.
No.
But this thing is going to win some Oscars. If it doesn't, the Academy is broken. It's lost all of its relevance, and the Oscars should be boycotted because
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to be better than this that
It
comes
was
out
so
this
good.
year.
Maybe Parent Trap too.
Parent Trap
That's the only
2.
thing. Mhm.
Wait, you mean not Parent Trap 2?
Or Freaky Friday too.
Freaky Friday 2.
I'm just
Freaky
I-
Friday.
Parent-
Isn't it Freaky Friday
Two.
3? Isn't
No,
there a
it's
2
two.
already? It's 2? Oh, okay.
No, it's true.
All right. Yeah, it's 2. Anyway, yeah, okay, that could win. No.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to be better than this. I hope it is. I hope it's like the greatest year for movies ever, but
Yeah.
I think it'd be really tough because this was so enjoyable. The music is still stuck in my head.
No, the music was insane. Also, obviously, I don't read any reviews at all. I don't read any summaries. I don't watch the trailer. I know nothing. So the like first second when one of the guys, the vampire, the original vampire, comes out and his eyes are red, I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna get crazy. And it was like, it was pretty far along into the movie, so I had no idea what was going to be happening. I was nervous.
it's like a relationship drama between these brothers and the women they left behind.
That's what I thought it was at first. I'm like, this is like so strange that people are loving this movie so much and that it's so talked about. I'm like, it's just about like, it's like a love and drama. Like, I had no idea what was coming.
Yeah. And I wasn't familiar with with Smoke's, what was it? Ex-wife, ex-girlfriend, whoever.
Yeah.
The woman Smoke leaves behind. She was incredible.
Uh-huh.
The kid, their cousin,
He
was
was so
amazing.
good.
And
Yeah.
the woman who played like the married woman that the cousin hooks up with was really good. Like when she
Yeah.
started singing, that scene was crazy. When like
She was
the
good.
first scene where like the juke joint really gets going and everybody's dancing, everything's happening, and the camera's just moving through it and like connects with everybody as different things were going on. Like that was even that felt like Martin Scorsese or like P.T. Anderson, like or Robert Altman, like the way the camera was moving.
Yeah, it was
and connecting all
beautiful.
those pieces. That was like that really was like I think the tracking shots that everybody always talks about are. Well, I guess it's Orson Welles' Touch of Evil, the beginning of that movie. It's Robert Altman, the player. It's the Goodfellas diner, or not diner, but walking through the kitchen scene. And then it's that massive tracking shot in Boogie Nights. There's an awesome one in Magnolia too. But like those are the big tracking shot moments. And I think this was Steadicam as it was moving through. And so is the Goodfellas one is Steadicam, but yeah, seeing that is like that is a filmmaker who's so in command of what they're doing that it doesn't distract from the scene. Like, look at me, I'm using this fancy shot. It just adds to the energy of it. And it's like it's using the camera to motivate the way the scene needs to make you feel and immersing you in the story to where if you're not thinking about the camera move, you would never notice that that's being done. But if you start to notice, you realize like how masterful it is. It was
I feel
so
like
good.
This movie did a really good job of being like, I don't know. I felt like I was in the movie. I typically don't feel that way ever about a movie, but it felt like very real.
Yeah, and did you notice the aspect ratio changes, or were you on a screen that was wide enough that you didn't?
I didn't notice.
Yeah, they change aspect ratios a couple times. It gets wider.
For what?
When the
Really?
vampires show up. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
We'll have to look up to see. That's the only time I noticed it, is it got slightly wider, but it was. I didn't see this IMAX. It's being re-released in 70 millimeter IMAX right now. I'll probably go see it before I see Warfare. No, I'll probably go see it at some point.
Warfare was good.
But I'm excited to see Warfare. But I need to look it up because I do know there were aspect ratio changes. And again, I was so like immersed in the movie, I don't think I noticed all of them, which is crazy. I don't want to go like if the conversation goes there, great, but I don't want to necessarily go into like every detail of what happened in the movie. It's crazy. It like this vampire group that's following this Irish dude grows, and these few survivors are under assault. It's like the Inside Out version. So From Dusk Till Dawn is this really famous Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez vampire movie that Tarantino's also in with George Clooney and Salma Hayek, and these non-vampires end up in a vampire bar having to fight their way out. This movie is the inverse of that, where they have their juke joint and the vampires can't come in unless they're invited. And so they're sort of out, they're at bay, they're outside, like the wolves are always at the door until there's a way that they get in, and then the full-on battle ensues. So that happens, and
I also think it's like funny. Is it like a known thing for like vampires to have to be invited in? Because they didn't explain it, but it was just natural. Like I already knew that before she even explained it.
that's one of the biggest pieces of vampire lore. That's like part and parcel with no sunlight.
Okay.
It's
I
like
felt
no
like a
sunlight,
dork.
they drink
And
blood.
garlic, yeah.
Garlic, wooden stake to the heart. This didn't try to reinvent vampire lore at all, with the exception of the fact that the vampire was an Irish dude as opposed to like Transylvanian or Eastern European. Mm-hmm. So, but he could have been bit by somebody that was that was Eastern European or Transylvanian. But
I don't know. I felt like I was tripping. I'm like, this is so dorky of me. Like, what? How do I know this without them explaining it? Like, so weird.
Yeah,
but
it's
whatever.
just classic vampire lore. I'm sure you've heard it somewhere at some point. This didn't try to reinvent any of that. It just leaned into it, and it was all the better because of it. Mm-hmm. But So there was one piece, it was Smoke's wife, we'll call her, said at one point that the difference between a hate and a vampire is when the lead vampire dies, its followers don't all die with it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was sort of like a throwaway line within the movie. So you think at the end, like, whatever, they kill the vampire. They kill the lead vampire. All the other vampires start to, like, die in the sunlight. You think they're all dead. And then Smoke stays behind to kill the KKK who was going to take
That
over
was
his land.
epic. That was such a good
it,
scene.
it was really epic and really great. and that was very Tarantino. That was very like Inglourious Bastards. Like, we're just going to do full on wish fulfillment. Like, let the good guys kill the bad guys in a blaze of gunfire. Like, amazing scene. But then there's the credit sequence that you missed is suddenly it's the 90s and the cousin is playing the blues.
I did see this.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's playing the blues in Chicago, and then Stack shows up with his girlfriend that he had left behind before, and they're like all dressed in cool 90s clothes.
I didn't see them. I left when he showed up.
Okay, so they show up at his bar. And he's like, how'd you survive? And they're very 90s. Like, it's so baller. They're dressed so cool. You have to look it up. It's actually interesting. So what's her name? Haley Steinfeld?
Yeah.
She looks identical to Debbie Mazar's character from Goodfellas. Like, her face, it looks like the same human. Like, I don't know if anyone's like compared them on the internet. We'll create a mashup of the two of them. But they look identically the same. Super 90s. And Stack is dressed so cool. He's got this awesome Cosby sweater kind of thing going on, and then he has on his rings it says Stack. Like gold rings says Stack.
Yeah.
But they show up to the bar, and the cousin, I keep wanting to say nephew, but the cousin is playing, and he's like, how did you guys survive? And it turns out that because you think as the audience that Smoke killed Stack, and then the cousin killed the lead vampire, and then all the vampires died. But in reality, they show a flashback, and Smoke let Stack live if he promised not to kill their cousin.
Whoa.
And then the girlfriend, Haley Steinfeld's character, survived because she just must have hid from the sunlight or something.
Yeah.
So
I can't believe I missed this.
It's amazing. It's like you would have loved the fashion. That's why I keep harping on the fashion, because you would have loved it. They look so cool. And so I don't know. I think there could be a sequel. Like they are.
Yeah.
What was her name? What was Stack's girlfriendish character's name? But anyways, now they've theoretically been together for 60 years. It's 1992. The movie starts in 1932. They've been together for 60 years. Who knows what they've been doing? Who knows what they're up to? I really, really, really hope there's a 90s set sequel. I also, here's the movie I want to see, just in case Ryan Coogler's listening. I want to see a movie that jumps back and forth between two time periods. The 90s, where Stack and Haley Steinfeld are living their 90s vampire life, and some period where we find out what happened to Rennick's family and how he became a vampire.
Yeah.
I want to see both of those periods. Somebody better get on that. Some fan fiction universe, wherever they write fan fiction these days, I want to see somebody do that.
There's definitely going to be a sequel.
There has to be.
Yeah. Her name is Mary, by the way.
Mary. That's right. So here's something that we did actually text about a little, but that I want to address. And this is something that Carl, who wrote Haunted Heist, brought up, which is something that never gets addressed in movies. If vampires, ghosts, zombies, any kind of like supernatural being that survives past normal human death were to be real, if we were to see them, it would kind of be the greatest thing ever, because it would prove that there's some sort of afterlife. Mm-hmm. Like, why does no one address this in movies? Why is no one like stoked? Like, okay, there's vampires and we might die, but we also might get to live after this.
I literally thought that, like, why don't they're seeing what is happening to their loved ones outside of, like, the barn. Um, they're just gonna live, like, forever, like, why don't they just join? Like, I literally was like, I would just join.
Their version of vampirism didn't seem so terrible. However,
No.
he did say at one point, like, they never get to feel a sunrise, the warmth of a sunrise on their skin. But would you
Well,
take eternal night? And what if you have an eternal hunger? What if you're never full because you always want blood?
I don't know. I am
It didn't
vegan. That
seem.
would
It
be
didn't
hard.
seem. You've got the vegan
Uh-huh.
vampire. What is that? It's a vegan vampire complex.
Yeah.
Vegan vampire conundrum.
Mhm.
Vegan vampire dilemma.
Dilemma, yeah.
Yeah, that would. If I had a Tumblr, my Tumblr would be veganvampiredilemma.tumblr.com.
Wow, incredible. That's a good
Yeah.
one.
You should see if it's available. That would be a good one for you. You should
I'm
write
sure
it.
it is.
You should tumble it from the POV of a vegan vampire.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. Niche.
So that's what I'm here for. Creating niches on
Yeah.
once dead social media networks.
Mhm.
But yeah, why isn't anyone, I guess here could be the argument. So the question is, one, why aren't people more surprised in movies that there are vampires? Like this is existentially terrifying. Yet I don't think terrifying. I think exciting. If a ghost showed up, okay, so this happened. Did we ever end up talking about this? Did we talk about the ghost in my grandma's house?
No, we didn't. I don't think so.
My grandma died in October, and there's this very controversial video in my family of that my aunt took, and I'm getting into family drama now. I have to go here. I have to go here. So my aunt took this video of my grandma like moments before she died. And in the video, she says she's alone at my grandma's house when she records this. And in the video, the camera briefly pans by a mirror, and you see a face that's not my aunt's face in the mirror looking down at my grandma. It's nobody that any of us have ever seen before, okay?
It's spooky.
It's really spooky. I don't believe in ghosts. Well, let me say this. We are on a rock that's going like a couple 100,000 miles per hour through space, powered by only exists because we're pulled in by the gravity of a ball of nuclear fission that is burning at millions of degrees Fahrenheit, and that's sustaining all life on Earth, this planet, like millions or hundreds of thousands of miles away. Like, none of this makes any sense. Like, I don't know how. I think it's just as arrogant to say you don't believe in ghosts as to say ghosts are real. Like, any of this is arrogance.
Anything is possible.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything is possible. We don't know anything. So, like, for a long time, I thought I considered myself an atheist, but my dad actually had always said, and it took me a while to catch on, like, it's really arrogant to be an atheist. It's just as arrogant as it is to say, I know who God is. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know, and you don't know. None of us know. We might have ideas, we might have beliefs, and your beliefs are cool, but it's not as cool of a word. I don't like to say I'm agnostic because it sounds so like wishy-washy and lame.
I always say I am nothing.
You are nothing.
I am the universe.
Okay. I'm nothing and everything all at once.
Yeah.
But I think that I have never seen evidence of ghosts. I've never seen evidence of any kind of ghostly or like heavenly afterlife. Okay. So for me to see this face in the mirror as my grandma's dying, and it says something, it like whispered something. No one knows. There's a debate in my family over what it whispered.
So sus.
It's really sus. It's a sus video.
Yeah.
So the side of my brain that falls into the category most people would consider rational or logical says, my aunt had somebody there with us and she's lying about it. Right?
Yeah.
There was somebody there. But we all know my aunt. Like my mom and their other siblings know my aunt. They know her friend group. They know the people that would be with her. No one recognizes this person.
She didn't notice it too. Which, I mean, you can lie about that, but
You can lie about that. So my aunt's story is she's there alone. She notices this later when she's like passing the video around to people and
Yeah.
somebody's like, who was there with you? She's like, what are you talking about? Nobody was there. And there's this face. It's a creepy video. It's a creepy
I hate it.
video. It shook me because it gave me this sense that of like this existential questioning of if there's a ghost in my grandma's house, this changes everything. The very basis for how I live my life is now different. Oh, nice gold nails, by the way. But this like everything that I thought and knew to be true is now different.
Yeah.
And so my family, they're like deep Catholics, and they hired a medium to go over there. and, and the medium like confirmed there was a ghost in the house, and confirmed actually that my grandpa, who had died 10 years ago, and my grandma were in the room at my grandma's funeral. So we're at this is a small funeral. It's like immediate family only. And we're in this room at the funeral home, and people are pointing out to me where the different ghosts are. And I'm like, have you people lost your
Whoa.
minds? What is happening? But at the same time, it was so fresh and so real, and they all believed it. And I was just left thinking, I can't prove they're wrong. Why do
Yeah.
I not believe this? It's weird.
It's
If
super weird.
either my aunt's lying, which is weird, but grief does weird things to people. Like she could be lying because she wants to believe there's proof of an afterlife.
Yeah.
Or there was a ghost.
Yeah.
Either way, I actually had that moment of what if ghosts are real?
Yeah.
That
Have
means
you
there's
Okay, we've talked about this before, like our trajectory with religion and ghosts and stuff, but like was it the first time that you have ever really experienced anything like, oh, there could be something out there, or have you ever experienced that when you were younger?
this is the first time I've really ever had a there might be something else out there experience.
It's just weird because like you grew up like super religious, like or in a super religious household. So for you to
I
like
went to Catholic
not
school.
yeah, for you to not have had an experience until like now is wild to me.
You know, I definitely had when I was younger, when I was like pretty deeply religious. I thought about pursuing the priesthood at one point. I would get that sort of, I don't know, I'm sure there's a term for it, but I'll call it like an influencer effect by being in the room with people who deeply believe. And like, especially like when people are singing religious songs in a church environment and they're very into it, you get like caught up in the spirit
It's
of it.
weird. It's so weird.
It's like a form of mass hysteria or something of I don't Nietzsche talks about this kind of thing. It happens at concerts too. It happens at
Really?
sporting events where you just get like swept up in
Yeah.
the crowd.
Weird.
And I've had those feelings before for sure. Like religious
Same.
experiences in that context. I've never seen what I thought was an alien. At one point, I had thought that I saw what could be a UFO. I saw an unexplained object in the sky, 100% for sure. Don't know what it was, but I never really believed it was a UFO. I always just thought it was a experimental spacecraft of some point. There's so much weird stuff flying around that who knows. Gosh, I've had an experience that we might have to come back to. I'm not sure I want to discuss it with you right now. When I tell you, you'll understand why. But
Oh, it's fine for me, just not the podcast. Okay, that makes sense.
yeah,
I thought it would be like one of those things when you're old or
no. It's I have had an experience where that has led me to feel that all that we see is not necessarily all that there is to experience in a given set and setting.
okay.
I'll tell you offline, and
Yeah.
we can decide if this is the kind of thing we should discuss on here or not. But
Wow. Okay.
this ghost experience that my family had was the first moment where I've had that thing that you would have in a movie when the ghost shows up in a world in which there aren't ghosts, where you're like, oh my God, everything's different. And why isn't that moment met with excitement? To me, I was terrified, but also once the terror went away, I was pretty excited.
I was excited.
A ghost. Everybody was
very
excited. It was exciting. Once the kind of like excitement of the moment wore off, and we all kind of thought like, maybe my aunt was just sort of making this up. Like there's somebody there with her.
Yeah.
What was going on? I was pretty disappointed. I was hoping that this would continue. I was hoping that this was like a thing, that now ghosts were going to start showing up in my life. Because I was hoping it was that thing. Like, I think this has been debunked, but there's a story that when European ships first started arriving on the American coast, that the indigenous peoples didn't see them because they'd never seen ships before, so they couldn't see it because they didn't know how to experience it. I think the reality of the situation was they didn't write about it or talk about it because they didn't have the words to describe what it was.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean they didn't see it.
Yeah.
But I was hoping that this was the kind of thing where it's like the seal's broken, we saw ghosts, now they're going to be showing up everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And that didn't happen. This was a one and done. Who knows what this was? Anyway, I don't know where else to go with this. I think it's an appropriate tangent because I think ghosts, vampires, aliens, all these things. It's only a matter of time until we discover that aliens are out there. There's no way we're alone.
I don't know who said it, whose theory this is, but it's like if you can think of something like a vampire or a mermaid or whatever, it exists at this time. Like all thoughts are already in the ether.
Right, or somewhere in some.
Yeah,
if the universe is infinite.
Yeah.
Yeah, if the universe is infinite or if multiple timelines are happening at once, there is some other version of you that lives in a universe that doesn't have any, or that has vampires. That's like, have I ever made you watch Coherence?
No.
This movie is so good. It looks at like the multiple timelines, multiple dimensions scenario that we likely live in, that physicists believe we live in, and in a way that's super novel and is done really cleverly and also raises a really interesting question. What if you're in the bad timeline? Or you're just a bad person in the timeline? Like you're the bad Kaya. What if you're the worst one? I don't think you are. I think you're a fairly decent person. Yeah. But what if I'm the bad me? What if there's some other much better Sean out there? Well, it'd be sad.
I mean, there's like so many theories about that too, that like you have to live another life. Like you can't fully pass on until you've fixed your wrongs in new lives.
Well, that's Buddhism.
No, but there are other like trajectories. I don't know. Little like
woo-woo philosophies.
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't think that stuff should be. Discounted.
It's not
or dispelled.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not using woo-woo as a derogatory.
Woo-woo is rude.
Inherently.
Yeah, it's rude.
I don't think it's rude.
Okay.
I'm not using it. I'm not. That's not the way I'm choosing to use. I just don't know how else to describe it. Non-mainstream theology.
Correct.
Okay. So I want to get back to the fact that I'm on TikTok now. And I just have to switch topics. We've been on this one for too long. So you made me get on TikTok. It's really interesting because it's making me appreciate movies more, because I'm seeing how much other people appreciate movies, and it's reminding me of some movies that I haven't seen in a long time that I really liked. However, I'm watching less movies.
Yeah. Clearly because you didn't watch Warfare.
Whatever. But I did see two movies.
You didn't watch our movies that we were supposed to watch because you were on TikTok scrolling. Just own it.
No, because I scroll at night when I wouldn't be going to see the movie anyways. I typically go to matinees, but the time at night that I typically watch movies at home on like Criterion or Netflix or Max or whatever, that time is being eaten into by both making and viewing social media.
Mm-hmm.
But that asks the question: quality over quantity, or quantity over quality. So
True.
because I'm watching these people, I'm seeing their takes on movies, I'm seeing how they appreciate scenes, the use of music in movies, certain moments in movies. Is that improving my viewing experience of the movies I do watch? So if I watch 4
I think
movies a week
so.
instead of 7 movies a week, but I'm appreciating them more, is that a net benefit?
Yeah, I feel like that's what I do. I feel like I find, I mean, my For You page and what's recommended to me is definitely like less film, less movie related. But when I do have those, it's like more exciting. And also, like if someone recommends a movie to me, I'll add it to my watch list, and I truly will take the time where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be on social media tonight, and I will go through my watch list and I will pick a movie and I will watch. And I've been doing
Then
that and I enjoy it.
then why haven't you watched Heat?
I just watched Dog Day Afternoon, and
Attica.
it's one of the best movies ever. I also rated that 5 out of 5. Like, uh, I've been
It's
making a point to
really,
watch more
really, really
movies.
good. I'm gonna actually. This is oh my god, this is the perfect moment to talk about the script, but it's a pretty high original concept that a dude is trying to pitch right now. A
Mm-hmm.
guy approached me with a movie that I will tell you about offline. Ask me about it. Do not forget to ask me about it. I cannot say it on here, but it involves Dog Day Afternoon as like a plot point. It's
Really?
so good. It's so good. I might, I don't know. I might get involved. I might not. But
You should.
maybe once I tell you about it, you're really going to dig
Okay.
it. My For You page is exclusively 3 things. Like lame looking products to help you with your TikTok. Like there's no way
Okay.
this stuff works, okay? There's no way this stuff works. They're all
Yeah.
terrible looking. There's that. There's movie everything. Edits, commentary, how to make movies, how to watch movies, everything movies, ads for movies. And then there's one outlier, which is Romy Mars. It
That's
is
because of
because
me sending it.
because
Oh
of you
wait.
sending it. But
No,
there's
no. Wait. I have access to his TikTok, and sometimes I'll scroll on the For You page just to like change things up because his For You page sucks. It sucks, and I'll
it's
go on
great.
Romy
It's all
stuff. I
movies.
go on her page all the time from yours. That's probably why.
I thought it was because
My
you
fault.
sent her to me.
I think it's because I've actually scrolled and like looked and liked her stuff.
Okay, I haven't liked any of
My
it.
bad.
But
It was all
so
me.
but it's okay because we have a running thing about the Coppolas.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting. I've probably spent more time thinking about this than I should have. But I went to see Francis Ford Coppola speak on Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and it was phenomenal. Like it was in theory, it was Megalopolis screened at this museum, and then he spoke after the screening of Megalopolis. He's apparently like going on this speaking tour because he's like $100 million in debt from making Megalopolis, which is a pretty baller move to do when you're 86 years old. Like, why not burn the house down, go out with a bang? But he talked for like 2 hours about everything other than Megalopolis,
Yeah.
which was pretty great because you get to understand. Like, I like to understand the why behind why someone tells a story. Because like the technique is whatever. I can learn about that later. If I'm interested in how he constructed a scene, I can find a scene breakdown or find somebody doing it on
Yeah.
TikTok because they'll do it inevitably.
Yeah.
But hearing why he wanted to tell that story, why it was important to him, that's really what he was talking about. And he also, it made me think about this book I read a long time ago called Droid Maker that was about George Lucas and Francis Ford Coppola and their friendship and the way they make films. And it's really interesting because we think of George Lucas, I think the Star Wars guy is the tech guy. But in reality, Francis was the tech guy. He was one of the first people to do nonlinear editing, which is now all editing.
Yeah.
Like Premiere, Avid, these are all nonlinear editing systems. And none of that would exist if not for him. And he was like, his longtime dream was to build this production vehicle so that he could go make little personal films outside of the studio system and tell them with as little interference from studios, from financiers, from distributors as possible. And when I think about the fact that, so for anyone who doesn't know, Romy Mars is Francis Ford Coppola's granddaughter, Sofia Coppola's
Love.
daughter. So the fact that she's now building a career telling filmed stories with her cell phone and a direct connection to the audience, she's kind of living out the dream of her grandfather,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think so. It's also crazy to me because people always like they think that social media is embarrassing and like not creative, but it's just like the way that we're changing and morphing as society. Like that's like our movies now. Like that's how people are creative now.
You know that people thought that movies were like garbage form of entertainment
Yeah.
because it wasn't theater, it wasn't literature,
Yeah, for sure.
it wasn't opera. And I think it'll be the same thing. Like, are there lots of garbage movies that add nothing to your brain and actually take away from it? Sure, tons. Is there tons of garbage on social media that adds nothing to your brain and only takes away from it? Yeah. Like, is there junk food and nourishing food? Yes. I think similarly, I think that there is social media that's great, that's super creative, that's really artistic, that is like, I see TikToks that are so good. And I think like, I couldn't edit that. I couldn't make that. Like I didn't have that thought. Somebody else did. And even though it's for 60 seconds instead of 90 minutes, that 60 seconds was an enjoyable piece of art that was thought provoking. Why is that lesser than a movie or a TV show or a book or an opera that makes me think and feel? Like if you can, it's not. I think if you can do something emotionally resonant, regardless of medium, it's art.
Yeah. I feel like they move me a lot. Like TikToks will move me.
Do you often
tears.
cry? Yeah? Yeah?
I have.
You cry
Yeah,
at the
I
TikToks?
have. Yeah.
I become emotional while watching some, particularly like, dude, I'm a sucker for this, but anytime, what's that song from Arrival?
I don't know.
There, anytime there's like an Arrival quote over a song from Arrival, and then there's some imagery from somebody's life, those get me. There's a lot I've noticed too, and I don't know the algorithm well enough yet to know how much this is just my algorithm versus just what TikTok loves. But
Yeah.
and like Arrival, Dune, what are the other movies that TikTok really loves? American Psycho.
There's a lot of like a lot of
Or is it all
rom-coms. Like
niche?
the edits of movies that people make are amazing. Like sometimes those will move me to tears. Like
Yeah,
it
that's what I'm
makes me
talking about.
appreciate movies more.
It does. Yeah, those edits
Yeah.
for sure make me appreciate movies more, and great movies. And they remind you, I like the lists that people make of where like there's a mood to it. So it's not just an article, like an online article where it would be, here's 10 movies you should watch. There's a song that it's set to, there's a color palette, there's like an aesthetic to it that puts you in the mood of those movies and sets you up for, okay, if you're in this vibe and you watch this movie, you would like these other 9 movies. That's really
Yeah.
cool. Like I think that's a benefit to movie viewers, movie going, and movie culture. And so
Yeah.
people talk a lot about the death of movies, and I think from being on Letterboxd and TikTok in particular, movies are so not dying. The film
I
industry
feel
in a
like
way is dying, but movies
yeah.
aren't.
I feel like this is really helpful for you, and I feel like other filmmakers should like get off their high horse when it comes to social media and just start using it because I feel like it's super beneficial. You see like the way that certain movies make other people feel and like the vibe and the mood and the music, and I don't know, I feel like if I were to make a movie, I would want to use that as a tool.
Yeah, I agree. I'm totally with you. I think I've been a social media Luddite for a long time, and I'm glad you forced me onto it because it's not, I'm sure there is a corner of TikTok or a lot of TikTok that is just garbage junk food content that's making people feel
Toxic,
bad about themselves.
bad. Yeah.
I don't see any of that.
Yeah.
And so for me it's been really a net benefit, and I will definitely be using TikTok to promote my movies in the future. I don't know how. I'll be using it just to promote movies. Like that's what's so cool about it. I'm not even just thinking about promotion in like the kind of lame sense of like get you to see my movie, but like engaging the film community on TikTok and Letterboxd and these different places, really engaging people and saying, hey, like I made something that I think might make an hour of your life better. Watch
Yeah.
this. Here's why. What do you guys think? It's like Dinner in America. which is a movie I was involved with from a few years ago, got re-released in theaters because people on TikTok found the song and started making their own TikToks.
Yeah. It's
Like
wild.
That's wild. And that should be happening more. I think that it shouldn't just be.
Yeah.
I think for a long time, movie promotion has been a monologue of the movie studio saying to the people, here's this. There's this actor in it. Go see it. And I think that media is becoming more sophisticated now, and that it's a dialogue, and that the filmmakers and studios who are able to understand that dialogue and lean into it. And I also think it's not just going to be these big expensive movies with these expensive marketing campaigns. I think somebody could shoot a movie on their cell phone right now, and if that movie could move an audience to want to talk about it on social media, it could have just as much of an impact as a $200 million studio movie. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And most people talk about the fact that they want to see new faces, indie films, and like hear different stories. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's been really inspiring to see the amount of foreign films too that people talk about a lot on TikTok. Like I've learned about a lot of films that I wasn't familiar with. And so it's just cool to see the depth at which people are going into their love of cinema in a time where people say that the art form's dying. Like the art form, I think, is the healthiest it's ever been. It's just the industry that surrounds it's going to change, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Now,
reviews. I hate Rotten Tomatoes.
So let's do it first. Not surprising, 98%. Sinners is a redemption movie. This is Adam Campanar from Film Spotting. He says Sinners is a redemption movie or revenge movie with elements of blaxploitation and certainly a red blood-soaked horror movie. I disagree. It's also deeply romantic and has the rhythms and audaciousness of some of our boldest musicals. I do agree. Dwight Brown from DwightBrownInc.com says somewhere in this artful and audacious 137-minute horror thriller is an even more phenomenal 120-minute film. Dude, I disagree. That movie felt so short.
I was going to say the pacing of it was perfect for me.
Yeah. Kevin Marr from Times UK says, yes, Coogler fluffs the ending, but by then all the heavy lifting has been done. These people are nuts. Chauncey K. Robinson from People's World. Sinners leans into imaginative storytelling, resulting in a compelling original story that lures us in with terror and keeps us captivated with the very human condition at the heart of it all. A+. Okay, I agree with that. I don't agree with the other people. I don't think, there's nothing I would change about this movie. Not one thing.
I agree.
Let's see what Letterboxd has to say. Letterboxd is a 4.2, which
That's
a 4.2 on
great.
Letterboxd is a 5 anywhere else. Everything's...
Yeah. I don't think I've really ever seen a movie with higher than 4.
Oh, the number... So this is giving me your review first, because apparently we're friends on Letterboxd, and you say, holy hell, a vampire movie with Michael B. Jordan's. Yes, plural. Dreams do come true. Nice. The number one review with 35,722 likes says, finally they cast Michael A. Jordan in something.
I saw that.
Okay, so this is the scene I was talking about. This Joe A. guy with 27,783 likes. He's got a podcast episode that talks about it as well. Oh, we should link to our podcast like this. Why is this guy so fancy? He says that one sequence, you'll know it when you see it. Magnum opus type scene, spirit awakening type scene, inspirational, foundational, monumental. I agree. Jonathan Fuji gives it 5 stars. He's got... Oh, sorry.
I have a funny one. You never let me read reviews ever. Like, you always just do them back to back. But someone said, are you taking the blue Michael B. Jordan pill or the red Michael B. Jordan pill?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good. I'll let you do a couple. I just want to do one more.
I just like the funny ones. You read real ones.
Okay, I'm going to read my last real one. The kind of movie that reminds you why you fell in love with movies in the first place. I wholeheartedly agree.
Wait, was this shot on film?
Yeah.
Someone said movies should be shot on film.
I'm not sure it was all. I know it was shot on IMAX. Part of it were shot on IMAX film.
70 millimeter and IMAX. I don't know.
Entirely on film. 2 large format film formats, IMAX 1:43 aspect ratio and Ultra Panavision 70 2761. It's the first film ever to be shot simultaneously on both of these formats.
And if one wasn't hot enough, they give you 2.
Wow.
Going to tell my kids this was Twilight. Yeah, that's good.
That is good.
Maybe you should look up the aspect ratio changing.
Yes, Sinners was shot in multiple aspect ratios, but it doesn't say if they change. I know it did.
We believe you.
It does change aspect ratios in the middle of the film. 2 sequences with the widescreen aspect, or with not the widescreen aspect ratio, but where the aspect ratio fills the screen, the 1:43. Oh, so that's what I noticed. I noticed when it went back from the taller to the wider.
Okay. Yeah, I really love the love for this movie. I feel like normally Letterboxd is like really hounding a movie, but I really didn't see one bad review. They were all like 4, 4.5, 5-star reviews.
I feel like this is a bit of like a litmus test of a movie where if you don't, granted there are some people who just will have different opinions, but for the most part, I feel like you have to intentionally want to have a contrarian opinion to dislike this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Like, even if it's not your cup of tea, I think you would walk away. There's movies I feel like that about, where I'm like, this movie wasn't made for me, but it's really good.
Yeah,
and I feel like you could have that reaction to this. But like, there's people that don't like blood, and they probably wouldn't like this. There's quite a bit of blood. There's people that have a problem, mostly for religious reasons, with like anything involving demons or vampires or ghosts.
Yeah.
They might have an issue with it. I don't think there's anyone who's being honest with themselves who could look at this and say it wasn't like tremendous storytelling.
Mm-hmm. Everything about it was good. The music was good. The shots were beautiful. The acting was good.
It was fun.
Everything. The story was fun.
It was really fun. I also really liked how great that 1930s world looked. Some of my favorite shots in the movie were the really wide shots behind the car, where it was just like driving down those back plantation roads.
It was so beautiful. Yeah. I was thinking, I got a little bit nervous at the beginning of the movie because I don't really like movies set in that time. They give me shed. They stress me out. They give me really bad anxiety. But this changed my mind. I'm more open now to seeing movies from 30s, 40s, whenever.
From that era or set in that era or both?
Set in that era. I like movies from that era.
You should watch Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
I'll think about it.
After you watch Heat, since you're in your Pacino era.
Yeah, I am.
When are you going to watch Scarface?
That's actually like next on my list. Scarface.
That's an interesting one. All I will
Crazy,
say
I've never seen it. I lie about seeing that to people. I've never seen it. If I've lied to you about seeing it, I've never seen it.
Do you know what I lie to people about seeing that I've never seen?
What?
This is major news.
What?
The Exorcist.
Whoa. You've actually talked about that movie a lot, I feel like. That's so funny.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, I lie about Scarface, Goodfellas, and The Truman Show. I've never seen
movies. You've never seen Truman Show? Watch it now. Hang up. Don't edit this. Just go immediately and watch.
Isn't that
the
so
Truman
funny?
Show. That blows my mind. I know you're in your Pacino era. I know that you need to watch Scarface and Heat. Mm-hmm. I feel like you need to watch Truman first.
I know. It's a lot. It's really hard, but...
Truman Show is such a... I guess The Exorcist is too. But Truman Show is such a like cultural reference point.
It's also like part of the movie or the thing you're like working on that I have been working on too for a very long time, and I just still haven't. I've tried. I've started. Gotten to the beginning intro.
You have been tangentially involved with the Truman Show for years.
I've been lying.
Yeah, I actually go out of my way. I didn't know. I go out of my way. I don't actually say that I've seen The Exorcist.
Yeah.
But I will reference The Exorcist.
Yeah. I do that all the time.
No one ever asked. Everyone just assumes that I've seen it. And
If you
I like.
reference something like that, people won't question you ever.
Here's what's crazy about The Exorcist is that I watched a documentary that William Friedkin, the director of The Exorcist, made about how the making The Exorcist turned him from like borderline sort of agnostic to like a true believer. And he then followed this Catholic priest that had done more exorcisms than any person in history. He's like the world's most widely. So I watched a documentary like based on the movie. I haven't watched the movie.
You need to watch
Why
that
did
this
I do
week.
this? I need
don't
to
know.
watch The Exorcist this week.
That's really funny.
I'll watch The Exorcist if you watch The Truman Show.
Okay. I think that's like a really good icebreaker to ask people is like, what movie do you lie about?
That's
seeing,
so good.
watching,
Let's make
or
it TikTok.
knowing?
What are we seeing this week? I know I'm seeing Warfare and we're doing a double feature. What else are we seeing besides Warfare?
I don't know because I feel like we're neglecting Warfare. So I feel, I don't know. We really have to talk about it because it was a great movie.
I'm excited. I really want to see it. I'm just slacking.
It was so good.
Bro, I love the Final Destination franchise. I like the first movie a lot. This new one looks garbage. Filmed in IMAX.
see.
Oh, we're seeing The Surfer.
I don't even see that.
Okay, it's a Nicolas Cage movie.
Oh.
In this psychological thriller directed by Lorcan Finnegan, a man returns to the idyllic beach of his childhood to surf with his son, but his desire to hit the waves is thwarted by a group of locals whose mantra is "Don't live here, don't surf here." Humiliated
good.
and angry, the man is drawn into a conflict that keeps rising in concert with the punishing heat of the summer and pushes him to his breaking point.
This
looks
sounds really good.
So good. We have to see this.
Nicolas Cage, you know
Nicolas
our
Cage
lore.
losing his mind on the
roads.
beach. All roads
All
lead to
roads
Coppola.
lead-
So yeah, that's to close this one up. We for a long time have been talking about this wall that we need to make of like all these Coppola connections and all roads leading to Coppola's. So me seeing Francis Ford Coppola up close at this event was like pretty meaningful. I also like really love his films and really love his filmmaking philosophy. It was a really cool moment, but I have to admit it left me really, really, really wanting to get a Coppola on our podcast.
Yeah.
Which one?
Romy.
Maybe.
Or him. Just him. I feel like
Him. Oh my God. That would be.
epic.
I could talk to the people from the museum where I'm working with them. I could talk to them.
Okay. I'd be nervous, but
To talk to him?
yeah.
Yeah. I'd be nervous if I was wearing this jacket because he wears kind of like a similar thing.
Yeah.
He's been wearing an army jacket and a tie for like 40 years. That's like a really cool uniform. I
Yeah.
feel like he's like Godfather right here, Apocalypse Now on out here.
We'll see.
Yeah, all roads lead to Coppola. Okay, so yeah, we're doing a Coppola movie next week. I'm pretty stoked about that.
Yay. Yeah, I'm excited.
Well, we will be back soon. Peace.
Swag money YOLO.
How do you do that?
Stay fierce. Hashtag stay fierce. Yeah.